It's starting now.
Yes. I'm fucking with you. I'm deliberately fucking with you.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome
Hey
back.
everyone, my name is Icarus and he's Kinagoostis. And I like fucking with his mind.
Yeah, and he can clearly see how I feel about it. Of course, you guys can't, but I'm sure he can describe eloquently what I'm doing.
Yes, he's giving me the finger, because that's just what he likes to do.
Yes. Well, as we can see, we are dealing with the aftermath of whatever we were doing the last episode. I suppose we were stomping further into Latium, about to crush Rome soon.
Indeed we were.
I like to, for the sake of a dramatic flair, I want to leave the city of Rome to be among the last places to attack. So we're
very dramatic. Let's hope it doesn't come back to bite us in the ass.
Well, at this point we're winning against Rome. They don't really have much of an option to defeat us.
Well, you never know. Rome can be very sophisticated and they're very battle-hardened. You never know. They could come up with plans behind the scenes.
In history, Rome was a very, very stubborn opponent. You know.
I know, but they were also bloody relentless as well. If you
yes, I'm saying that they were very stubborn. Yes, but in this case, you're dealing with the AI in a game. But anyways, we were also beginning some of our early assault on Massalian territory. Well, we already did that by capturing Tarraco, but regardless, we were entering into Gallia Narbonensis, which is Massalia's home province. We have an army besieging Narbo, and we have another army just outside, replenishing. And we see what the military situation is. We've got a few armies outside. Ares' Terror. And another army, don't know what their name is, in check. As my spy is moving by.
Where he will undoubtedly get caught for the umpteenth time.
And we decide to auto-resolve this attack on Narbo because we do not think it is worth fighting, apparently.
Indeed, apparently.
A decisive victory, which results in a sack.
Again, very excessive, I must add.
And we do another attack.
Boy, we just do not give a fuck, do we?
And we raise it.
God, why don't we just leave it alone? It's been through too much already.
So now we control Narbo. So I contemplate what to build. I decide to build a barracks. Probably to get some extra protection. So now I decide to move Dido's.
Are we sure we need extra protection? Because I'd say that town is pretty wrecked itself.
Well, it's because it is wrecked. You want to make sure it's got extra protection in the future. So I decide to move Dido's faithful up just outside of Narbo.
If there's anything left to defend.
Probably just
sacking and ransacking you've done.
Sacking and raising.
Whatever.
And now we're moving this army towards Patavium. The Tusks of Destiny, that's what the army was called.
The Tusks of Destiny.
Yes.
Very on the nose, but okay,
I don't come up with these names,
this.
They're just auto-generated names.
Were they actual... Do you think they were actually names? Those were the actual names of the armies back then, or is that just something that was made up by the developers?
Just made up by the developers. I don't know whether armies had clear names. With Rome, we know they had Legio, whatever number, referring to whatever legion this was, and probably some other extra name, but that's Rome. I don't think we know anything about what Carthage had for armies and how their army system worked, other than just it was a large pool of mercenaries or foreign levies with a very small pool of citizen soldiers, if any. So these names are just arbitrarily made up to vaguely fit the theme of Carthage by creative assembly. But anyways, we've captured Patavium and we are converting the buildings.
Talk about ravaging a dead dog while he's already down. Jeez.
Yes, whatever he said.
Because he's been ransacking and pillaging and raising.
Sacking
everywhere.
and raising. And now we have something. Massalia has launched an assault with basically a lot of their armies attacking Narbo.
Big mistake on their part.
Or will it be? But in this case, I decide to fight it, and I choose not to control a large army.
A wise decision.
Well, it just means that there's about a limit of about 20 units on each side at a time, and the extra units will come later.
Right, so who do we have here now?
These are my Libby Phoenician hoplites. And next to them I think are Greek mercenary hoplites. Behind them are some Balearic slingers. My Libyan Theraeo swords are right over here. This is my cavalry. I think this is my general's bodyguard. These are my Scutarii or Ambacti. Scutarii there, and next to them are Ambacti. Behind them a Numidian cavalry. On the other side there we've got two other hoplite units with some Balearic slingers behind them. We've got Libyan Theraeo spears right over there. Behind them probably another unit of Balearic slingers.
Pretty well stocked there.
And there's another unit we can just see there of Libyan Theraeo spears. And I think that's possibly my Libby Phoenician cavalry. Right there in the center. And we got two other sword units on that side. Probably Scutarii and Ambacti. So
like I said, pretty well stocked.
Oh yeah,
I'd say.
Overall a really pretty solid force. So these are Massalian veteran hoplites moving. They're taking fire from my slingers, but they've yet to take any casualties. Because they're being shot at by their shield side, so they'll be able to endure some of the shots there. But first we see some cavalry charge.
Ooh, already.
They're moving in on my Libyan Theraeo spears. Who are throwing their javelins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'd say I did a little bit of damage there.
Yeah. So that's the beginnings of the assault. This will be a pretty long battle, I believe, so get comfy.
I already am.
Yes.
I mean, you guys obviously can't see it, but I'm tucked away nice and cozy.
Yeah, you just have to turn off his camera now. But anyway, so we see my Libyans doing well to hold off the enemy assault.
Very well, in fact, actually.
Well, they're Theraeo spears, so they're pretty sturdy light spearmen.
A few horses are down already, so that's probably a good
it's
sign.
Spears against horses.
I know,
that's
all
kind
the
of their
same.
strength. I move my other unit of spears over.
Libyans.
Yes, Libyan Theraeo spears.
Ah.
So they're equipped with the Theraeo shield. They're essentially meant to reflect some level of being professional soldiers. Since that was kind of the thing about Theraeo Horoi. Kind of.
Obviously.
They were sort of like professionals, they were mercenaries. Typically equipped with this oval-shaped shield, which was quite nifty to use. They were a big thing in Hellenistic armies. Well, maybe not that big of a thing, but certainly a thing in them.
Oh, we have a giant meet-up here.
Yeah, we got my other spears charging down to assist.
Coming at them from behind.
Yep.
A bit of a skirmish there.
Yeah, so it's basically Gallic cavalry versus my Libyan spearmen. Because Massalia had their rework at this point.
Yeah?
Yeah, see, Massalia is a Greek colony based in Gaul. And in the 1.2.8 update, I believe it was, these Greek colony factions got some unique changes made. So they got access to a greater amount of what you call native units. So that gives them Massalia Celtic. Was having some interesting hybrid Celto-Hellenic troops. And even some of their hoplites got nice visual reworks. To reflect
what do they
Celtic
involve
influence.
exactly?
What, the visual reworks?
Yeah.
For certain, basically more Celtic influences and even Iberian. So like the Massalian Noble Guard, I think they were called, basically the elite hoplites. They got more Celtic and Iberian influenced gear on them.
And are these mainly for authenticity's sake, or is it just purely for new visual
Well,
looks?
put simply, I don't think very much is known about Massalia and its military. As a Greek colony, it would have had Greek style of fighting. Being based in Gaul, they would have had probably used Gallic soldiers. And because they were close to Iberia and had trade links there, they would have probably also had some Iberian influences. So call it authenticity, but it's kind of just an element of, we don't know, but it would kind of make sense. So why not?
Sure, it makes you wonder if they had that much of an impact on the world, if not that much is known about them.
Well, we don't know that much. I don't think Massalia may not have had a huge impact on the world, but we know they existed.
They seem to have, I don't know, based on the lack of sources in regards to what exactly these guys were up to, it kind of makes you wonder what kind of impact they had on society in general. You know what I mean? And they left so little mark on everything.
Well, they left a mark, it's just, we just don't have much information on their military, as far as I know.
You'd think they would have wrote some of this down for historical sake. I don't know.
Well, maybe they did, it's just lost to us.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. Like,
because that's the
I'm
thing.
thinking like possibly other archives. Like a possible scenario I can think of is like maybe their archives were all on the ship and it just sunk or something. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like a lot of the times, the only reason why we have a lot of surviving ancient sources is probably through medieval scholars and scribes transcribing these things. So the fact is, you just have to get lucky for things to survive, ancient accounts to survive. There's a lot that hasn't survived.
Yeah.
Sure, one of our main sources for the Hellenistic period is Polybius, and not all of his work survives. But anyways, our Ambacti have charged the enemy from behind, attacking the Threo swords.
Oh, those guys are fucked.
Well, yeah, it's Threo swordsmen versus Ambacti. It's already a bit of a massacre.
Oh, I can see one guy already torn to shreds.
Always satisfying to watch people getting hacked to pieces. Not IRL, of course. Not IRL.
Dear viewers, I have to apologise for Gunagooses. He's a little bit of a sociopath here.
I know. Well, it'd be no different than admiring the very nicely executed assassinations in Assassin's Creed.
Yes, but at least assassinations are intended to put them out of their misery as quietly and efficiently as possible. This is just barbarism, man. This is just like unsavory.
What are we gonna do with them, dear viewers?
I know, you just have to put up with us, me and him.
Yes. Anyways, the fighting's going on reasonably well, I like to think.
Yeah, I'm struggling to make a move there.
Scutari are engaging some of the enemy infantry.
Halting their advance quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. They're fighting hoplites.
Men in black are stopped in their tracks.
Yeah. So yeah, we're steadily making progress to this series. Still quite a few more sessions to go through before we're fully done.
Exactly. So take it all in while you can, dear viewers. It will all come to
Yes.
an end soon enough.
Yes, in probably a good several months' time.
So take in all these next few months, dear viewers. You're gonna need it.
Let's just say that we're gonna hope that we can get this done some point soon, that we can work on a new series.
Exactly.
Which I'm thinking is probably going to be Seleucids.
Oh, that's rough there.
Yeah, we got our hoplites fighting their hoplites. And ours appear to be generally winning.
Brother against brother.
Not really, though.
I know.
Considering one's a bunch of Greeks in Gaul and the other are a bunch of Libby Phoenicians.
Hey, a man can live and dream.
Dream about what? Killing his brother? So our infantry are holding off that onslaught there.
Well, the hoplites are doing quite a bit of damage, I'd say.
Yeah.
All that's separating them is a puddle of men, I'd say.
Pile of bodies. And these guys are being hit from behind by my infantry.
The way I can see it from that view, it almost looks like they're forming a hammer. Oh no.
Scutari, you're fighting there against the Epilectoi Hoplitai, the noble guard.
Do you think they stand a chance?
Well, the noble guard's already beginning to rout.
Oh, well, that answers my question.
Carthage has some pretty powerful mercenaries, in fairness. So yeah, got my arm back to attacking some of those guys.
We're doing fuck all to defend themselves. They're kind of just standing around, just going, "Hey, you guys can kill us now. We're just random NPCs who just want to commit suicide by, doing nothing." I know it's artificial intelligence and everything, but come on.
Yeah. I'm moving my elephants in to smash these lads up.
Only a few elephants.
About 10 elephants
Oh,
in that unit.
no. I just can't really see from this distance.
Well, again, I think you're probably going to have to factor in that there's probably fewer entities than what's actually numbered.
Really?
It's the thing I noticed with a lot of elephant units and even possibly chariots. They'll say there's a certain number, but the actual number of entities is smaller than that.
Oh.
Like the
think
Atlas
that's
elephants, there are
you think that's
36
more
of them in the unit, but the actual entities represented in the field are 18.
I think that's more of a programming issue than anything else.
Well, it's certainly something that I noticed the DEI devs, I don't know, I should probably ask about that out of curiosity.
So they might update it in the new. They might update it in the
I
new
don't know.
DEI.
All I know is that the winter patch will have the Atlas elephants have visual touch-up, as will the Seleucid armoured elephants.
Well, let's hope for the best then.
They're getting a visual change up. Summary's been working on it. Apparently Cam has requested for him to do it. Probably because Summary and Swaraj did a great job with the Marian elephants, since they oversaw the Marian rework.
Well, let's wish him the best of luck then.
Yeah, well, he's already finished doing the Seleucid elephants. So yeah. Summary's also the dude who's been doing the unit cards lately.
Yeah?
Yeah. What I've understood is very few people like doing unit cards. Apparently it's very tedious. And Summary doesn't seem to mind. Because he's been doing it. He's been doing it lately, so whenever There's a rework done on a faction now. Just get Summary to do the unicards. Because yeah, he's even trying to rework all the unicards in the mod over time.
Oh yeah?
He wants to make them all consistent.
How so?
See, the problem with the unicards is you've had loads of different people working on all these different units, and sometimes the cards weren't always updated. So you have some very old cards that represent a unit's appearance that doesn't exist anymore. And sometimes certain units will actually look different, but they have the same card. And all sorts of different factors, and it's just nice to have a good consistent style to it.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense.
So, something he plans to do over time. It'll certainly be nice to see when that happens.
Sure, only time will tell.
Oh yeah, I've been following his channel, Summary. You know, he's been uploading videos, campaigns and stuff. He finished the campaign as the Marians. I'm still trying to get through that. Just started one as Parthia, which is interesting to see. They got reworked in the last patch. Ooh.
And were they fairly successful enough?
Well, certainly it was quite an interesting rework. New units, or mostly changes to the unit visuals and reform changes and stuff. I've never really played as Parthia. They're a very cavalry heavy faction.
You're not a huge fan of their cavalry?
Oh no. I actually think it's pretty interesting to see. I just haven't. It just takes a bit of getting used to the whole stuff.
I guess that makes sense.
They have a lot of cataphracts and a lot of horse archers. They're in fact kind of where cataphracts come from, you might say.
Really?
Well, I think cataphracts are kind of a thing in steppe Scythian type warfare. And the Seleucids in the reign of Antiochus the Great, also known as Antiochus III, engaged in a campaign against the Parthians, and it was as a result of that campaign that they developed their own cataphracts. I think even the Romans would develop their own cataphracts, I think, in relation to campaigns against Parthia. But the Parthians were originally people called the Parni, which were like a Scythian tribe. And they settled in a region called Parthia, and that's why they got called Parthians.
Oh yeah, I get it.
So they were kind of a Scythian nomadic people who got a bit more Persianized and became a pretty major power over time, taking over a lot of Seleucid territory. And they ended up fighting the Romans. And they also killed the politician Crassus at the Battle of Carrhae. I don't know too much about the battle, but basically it was a Parthian army full of a lot of horse archers and cataphracts, and he overwhelmed the legion, the Roman legion.
That could be a good subject for you to learn about.
Could certainly want to learn more about the Parthians.
Any good books that you would recommend for yourself?
That's a good question. I think through the Z library I was able to get a couple of books. I don't remember the names. There was one that was of interest. I think it was called Reign of Arrows. It's apparently very expensive. It was written by a dude who's been studying the Parthians. Let me see, can I find it? I think I might have it around here. But it was quite interesting. I was so I listened to the Hellenistic Age podcast. So this guy Nikolaos Overtoom was being interviewed about the Parthians, and he was suggesting his book. Reign of Arrows, the rise of the Parthian Empire in the Hellenistic Middle East. So let's get my hands on that. But it's expensive as hell.
I just have to be willing to save up.
Well, it's certainly quite pricey. According to Amazon here, the paperback version is currently about €27.
Okay.
The hardcover is currently at around €57, reduced from about 70.
Jeez.
The Kindle edition is about €24.
Sure, I'd always just go with the cheapest option. Sure, it's the same kind of quality anyway. So.
Oh yeah, well, I like to have a physical copy.
Okay, you do you, I guess.
But yeah, sure, anyways, I'm sure I'm waiting on 2 books to come by the end of the month.
Yeah?
One on Celtic warfare and the other by, is his name Gio Coronelli. He runs the Europa Antiqua channel.
Oh.
And a book on Iberian warfare by Fernando Quesada Sanz. I ordered both of those a good while ago on Pen and Sword books. And so I should hopefully get them by the end of this month or by early next month. So those would be nice to read. Anyways, the battle's going well, as you can see here.
Yes.
Just picking off what's left of the enemy troops. Those Ligurian swordsmen being taken down by my hoplites.
Well, I can see a few of them are starting to rout now.
Mm.
Heavy infantry going all at it there.
Yeah, looks like we routed those Ligurian swordsmen. Yeah, they're not very strong. Ligurian swordsmen.
They're like feather stacks in the wind compared to these guys.
You know, we got my Libyan Thrail swords fighting those hoplites. Yeah, by this time period, hoplites are mostly obsolete.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I guess because the phalangite pike warfare was probably a bit more effective by and large. So a lot of the Hellenistic kingdoms were using that. And I think the Redistributed proved to be kind of even more ideal to use once they came around. They're flexible troops. And they were probably kind of cheaper. Because the Theraperos equipment would be cheaper probably than a hoplite's equipment. Because all they would need is their sword, probably a javelins, maybe a spear that could just be thrown, a helmet, and their oval shield. Is really all a Theraperos would need. And the shield is basically made out of wood. A hoplite would probably need a helmet, at the very least a helmet, a spear, a sword, and their heavy round shield, which is made of wood and covered in bronze. But typically hoplites had a bit more gear than just that. You know, they would have worn body armor. So you kind of have that to deal with. So I think the Railway were probably cheaper, and they seem to just be very popular mercenary type and troop type in Greece by the Hellenistic period. Nimble skirmishing troops. Yeah, quite interesting in my opinion, the Railway. And the heavier Thorakitai.
Well, here comes our cavalry now, or reinforcements.
Sacred Band Cavalry.
Ah. Bit late to the party, but sure, okay.
Well, enemy reinforcements are starting to pour in. Got some Massalian levies.
Massalian haploi. What are haploids actually?
Levies.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Massaloi haploid. Massalian levies.
I see what you did there.
Kalai makoi hoplai. Hoplitai.
Heavy Falaeans infantry.
Anatim libim.
They seem to be holding up. They seem to be holding themselves off pretty well, I must say so.
Yeah. Oh, Tarantine cavalry.
And they didn't even penetrate their shields.
So yeah, we're holding our own so far. Yeah, the levies are losing.
Very
And my
badly, I
elephants.
must say.
Yeah, and now my elephants are smashing in.
Ooh, Jesus.
How'd you rate that?
Probably give that a 5. Sure, I didn't see too many casualties, but it was brutal nonetheless. So that's where all the black goo comes from.
Yeah, when we get to the Seleucids, you'll probably enjoy some more elephant action there.
Yay, more
With their-
elephant action!
With the Indian elephants.
I'm screaming like a fanboy internally. You can't hear it, so yeah.
Also some Syrian elephants. There's a unit of Syrians you can get. They're pretty good. My Libyans have routed.
Oh, we're on the move now.
Yeah. My Balearic slingers are trying to run away, but they're going to hit with the cavalry.
They're on the run now.
Well, the cavalry has stopped just to throw javelins at them. So my Numidians run up. That's Ligurian cavalry. They're pretty good.
Uh-oh.
There's my
Come on,
Audio
guys, pick up the
Sapones.
pace there.
And my Audio Sapones are moving in.
What are they skilled at?
They're heavy Iberian mercenary cavalry.
Gee, you'd think they could just pick up the pace there.
And now my hoplits are fighting the Celto-Hellenic spears. So they're basically Celts wearing Greek-influenced gear.
It's not looking too good down there.
I've got my sacred band.
Let's hope it's enough.
Well, they are very powerful.
The tides of war can sway the other way more often than you might think. So, just try to be pessimistic and optimistic at the same time.
Yeah, contradiction. Anyways, Egarix's attempts at sounding profound aside,
Well, thank you.
that wasn't a compliment.
It felt like one.
That you're attempting to sound profound.
Hey, I have to take praise where I can get it, okay?
No, you don't. I'm moving my cavalry in. And maybe Phoenician cavalry.
Oh, big convergence there.
Yeah, Sacred Band cavalry have come in there. Attack those Ligurians. Goldberry Kuroas.
What are those guys skilled at?
They're decent enough kind of assault infantry. They're basically Gallic mercenaries armed with swords and axes. They do the job in the early game.
But they're not as good as Skutari or Hoplites, I'm assuming.
Hoplites kind of fulfill a different function, but yeah, not as good as Skutari. Broadly, they'd be faster than Skutari, but Skutari would have better armor and probably slightly better melee stats overall. Yeah, the Gauls are pretty. I was using that unit for a while. They have an elephant bonus, and yeah, good armor piercing because they got axes.
So that wasn't more of a stampede. That was more or less just asking those guys politely to move out of the way, them to the side.
Well, my Iberians enemies are fighting the enemy cavalry and winning. Attacking Ligurian cavalry.
Ligurian Hippels or
Ligures Hippes.
seem to be holding up pretty well.
Yeah, that means Ligurian horsemen.
Ah, right.
Ligurians were people from North Italy. They were, by this time period, quite Celticized. But they weren't Celts. Yeah, got my arm back to you there. So those Gallic swords attacked my cavalry there. Shaken. The neck guns are steady.
Ooh.
I'm gonna move my elephants into attack then.
Oh, let's see how they do. Let's see how they fare now. And we cut away just as it was getting interesting.
Well, my Iberian cavalry is starting to struggle now.
Oh, it's not looking good.
No, they're fighting too many enemies. What isn't helping is that unit of skirmishers, the Neototoi, have spears.
Well, there may not be as much black goo, but I'd still rank that as an 8. Seem to get the job done pretty efficiently, alright. I just wish they'd join another party on there.
Netotoi. Netotoi. Yeah, probably more like Netotoi. Because by this time period, I think the epsilon iota is pronounced more like E than E. You know. But anyways, that's a bit of a linguistic ramble aside.
Oh, they're starting to run for the hills now.
They're starting to waver.
Don't know if they can hold out much longer.
Certainly the battle is going pretty okay.
The Dorkim, what are they called?
Dorkim.
Dorkim, yeah.
Dorkim, I think, might mean spearmen or something. Throwing
Come on,
flaming
elephants, don't
javelins.
just stand there. Rampage.
We don't want them to go on a rampage. To go berserk.
Oh, Jesus.
I suppose in this case it's not so bad because they're just attacking enemies, but in general you don't want your elephants to go berserk.
Oh, Jesus. That was rough.
You worry about the Dorkin Libby Punim?
Oh my god, guys, pick up the pace, will you? Your comrades need help.
They're just arriving.
I know, all the same. They could move their asses while they're at it.
Well, they are running, but they are going to be quite slow. Especially hoplites. They're slow as hell.
Well, the elephants are making the rounds. Well, the enemy seems to be a little bit boxed in there. On both sides. Dorkim seem to be holding up pretty well.
Now there are a few units called Dorkin. Charging into the enemy Balearic slingers.
Making a valiant last stand there.
Elephants routing off enemies. Over 650 kills.
Not bad, not bad at all.
Charging my Libyan Threo spears there. Also, by the winter patch, Cam's little submod should hopefully be out.
Yeah?
It's a submod that tweaks the appearance of various units to make them a bit more blinged.
How's that?
Just that it kind of gives a more flashier appearance. That might be a bit of a stretch historically, but looks cool. Only for certain units. Like,
Did they give a reason as to why they're including this?
he just thought it'd be fun to include. Something fun to do.
Give them a little bling to their armor.
It's just a submod, so it's an optional thing.
I know.
But anyways, well, that battle was over. And we won. It was a close victory, but we managed to win.